guys. Okay, I wanted to do a video on curly hair because I get asked a lot how I get my hair to look the way I do. Okay, so I do a couple different things because I have insanely curly hair, as you can tell. For one, I use the Aussie Instant Freeze Gel. I don't know if you can see that. It works really good, and as you can tell, it's $2.74 from Walmart, which the lighting is terrible. There you go. And then also from Aussie, I use the Catch the Wave Mousse in Flexible Hold. Plus, that's also $2.74 at Walmart. So these are all pretty cheap, and yeah. So I will get started and show you how I do my hair. First of all, I section it off pretty much just above the ear, so you have a little bit, which the one thing you don't want to do is brush out your curls. That just creates more fuzz. And if I keep looking over here, there's a mirror over there. So. Okay. And then what you'll want to use is a clip like this. And you just put the rest of it, you're going to look really crazy. Put the rest of it on top, so that's out of the way. Okay. And then what I do is try not to pull apart any curls that are there. I section that off in two sections, and underneath is where I have a lot of snarls. I don't know if it's the weight of all the other hair, it just gets a lot of knots. So for that, you want to use a really wide tooth comb. This one isn't as wide as I would like, but it's the only thing I can get my hands on. This I got from Avon. I don't know if they still have these, but if you do come across a really big knot, you want to be as careful as possible to just kind of work it out. You don't want to rip at it because that creates the ends to break off and everything. And I talk with my hands a lot. So this has already started to dry. I just got out of the shower, which I usually do this when it's wet. So it started to dry because my computer is being really stupid. So just take any spray bottle. This is just a little kid's detangler, but I dumped it out and put water in here. And then you just lightly spray it so it's damp. You don't want it soaking wet, but you don't want it completely dry either. And then what I do is I take the Instant Freeze Gel and put about that much in there on my hand. And then just run that through. You want to make sure you get the roots, or else it's going to be really poofy towards the top and then not so much down at the bottom. And you want to make sure you get the ends too. So work that in. Do the same thing to the other side. Okay. And then I take the Aussie Catch the Wave in Flexible Hold. And put about that much on my hand, work it together. And then lightly rub that through on both sides. You don't need a lot of this stuff because a little goes a really long way. So, rub that in. And then I usually bring this to the other side so it doesn't get mixed up in the new stuff you're taking down. try not to pull apart the curls. And then pin the other stuff up. I don't know why I keep saying pin. Clip it up, sorry. Spray it with a little water. And then gel again. Mousse. And you don't want to, the big thing that everybody does that I don't like to do because I like my curls to stay together. I don't like it to be, them to be apart because it just makes your hair fuzzier. I don't like to finger it through because that tends to pull the curls apart. So I usually just kind of keep my hands flat and rub it down through and then just kind of, you know, you don't want to put your fingers through it because that creates more fuzz, which we don't want. Got enough of that already. So, take some more down. Pretty much just continue doing that, same steps with the gel and then the mousse. Throughout your entire head, you want to cover all the curls you have. Because my hair tends to be fuzzier on top and then curlier on the bottom, so I use a little bit more gel on the top just to keep the fuzz down, but not too much because you don't want it to be crusty. Almost done. Usually when I get to the top, I usually part this in half and take the back, this part, and put it down, and then clip this off to the side because that's my bangs and everything, so I try to do those last. I usually am working with a three-way mirror in my bathroom, so this can get a little tricky. Okay, you take the gel, and you want to make sure you get the roots again, because you don't want it fuzzy on top and then curly underneath. Run that through. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. So now for the bangs, which I put those on the outside. Around my face, because my hair is shorter obviously, because I have bangs, I tend to have the little baby hairs, but they're also curly, so then they just look really stupid. So what you want to do is wet this down. And I part it where I naturally would, which is off to the side. And take the gel. You don't need as much this time because you're not working with as long of hair. So you take this, and I usually start where my part is and work my way down. Because that way it'll help make those little hairs dry down and not all fuzzy. And just work the gel. Like so. And if you see any areas like right in here, I didn't get enough gel in there, you can always go back and just get it a little bit damp and go through it and put gel in there. And this gel is really, really good. Even though it's maximum hold, it doesn't leave your hair crunchy. And I think that has a lot to do with mixing the two. I'm not sure. But I've used them both separate, not together, and neither one of them make my hair crunchy, so it works really good either way if you don't want to put a ton of product in your hair. Or you just want to pick one or the other to be cheaper, which I'm all for being cheap. So this stuff is a godsend. So I use that every day. And like I said, if you see anywhere that's fuzzy and you want to go back and redo it, you can. And that's pretty much it for how I do my hair for curly hair and everything. I don't know if this will work. It might work for straight hair. If you have straight hair and you want curly hair, you could put a little bit of gel and, you know, scrunch that when it's wet, and then when you're done, add a little bit of the mousse, or put a little bit of the mousse in when you get out of the shower and scrunch it. I'm not sure, but they're both really good products, so I use both of those every time I get out of the shower. And another thing with curly hair I've heard is you don't want to wash it every single day, because your natural oils will be stripped when you wash it, and curly hair tends to be dry, so without the oils it tends to break off and get dry and damaged. So I usually wash mine every other day or every 2 days. So I'll take a shower and just put like a cap on and just leave it. So that way, because my hair never really gets greasy. I don't know if that's weird or not. It doesn't really get too greasy, so I can usually go every 2 days. But if you have, you know, your hair is prone to getting greasy after a day or two, then you can do it every other day. But with my hair, it pretty much stays pretty fine, I guess. But yeah, these two products work really good, and that's pretty much it. So if this helped you, oh, and I'm going to try to put a picture of what this looks like when it's dry at the end of this, and if I can't, I will put a link to the picture in the bottom bar. I think it's on the bottom. It's on the bottom, right? The side? I think it's on the bottom. So, yeah. And if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, leave those below. And I hope this helped.